What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we have what appears to be some very good news. This is your stimulus and breaking news update. Now, I don't have any articles to link for you on this one because they haven't been written yet. This is actually happening right now live, and that is we've received word that Russia is saying that they're going to be backing off of the borders of Ukraine. They're going to be relocating some of the troops. Now, a lot of people are saying we haven't seen enough evidence of this yet. They're relocating some of them, but they're saying they might be saying this, but not actually doing it. Now, in addition to that, we also have President Joe Biden right now speaking in D.C., and he's promoting infrastructure and Build Back Better, stimulus reconciliation. So you guys, I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage of what is just unfolding right now. Like I said, articles are likely going to be popping up in this later on today, and I'll be sure to share with you any more updates, but I'm going to share with you the video footage of what's happening right now. Now, in addition to that, if you missed my last video, you might want to check it out on stimulus checks, as I gave you 4 new checks that are happening. Also, as I mentioned, negotiations are still taking place to see what's going to happen with more stimulus. But you guys, I've got a lot of video footage, so let's go ahead and dive right in, get you caught up on the latest. And first, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you appreciate the updates, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out my channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments. Share this out if you think it's going to help out other people. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free to do so. You can come join the Ram fam. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. And if you got any specific questions that you want to send to me directly, I'm easy to get a hold of. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3, and also consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, let's dive into the latest economic news, and let's start off with some video footage of what's happening right now with Russia and Ukraine.
Richard, take me to the ground in Ukraine. Is there any evidence Russians are actually pulling back?
Well, Russia, according to its own media and the Ministry of Defense, is pulling back a small number of troops. The Secretary General of NATO just said a short while ago that he doesn't see any evidence of a real de-escalation. And Ukrainian officials are also saying that Russia moves its troops all the time. Sometimes they go closer to the border, sometimes they pull back, and that it has seen this kind of maneuver before. This is the third time since December that Russia has said that it has done a partial withdrawal of forces. So something does appear to be happening. Russia is certainly going to great lengths to show that it is de-escalating. And actually, when an official in Moscow, Dmitry Peskov, the spokesman for Vladimir Putin, was asked, is this a Russian de-escalation? He flipped the question on his head, and he said, no, there was never any Russian escalation to begin with. We've been carrying out military exercises, and when they finish, the troops will go back to their bases, just like we said they always would. So we're really at a judgment call. Is this the start of Russia opening a possible avenue for dialogue and visibly showing that it is taking the West's concerns and Ukraine's concerns seriously? Or is it just a head fake from Vladimir Putin to keep people guessing what his real intentions are?
So there you have it, you guys. They're saying they're pulling their troops back, but we're yet to see if Russia will actually pull their troops from the Ukrainian border. Now, in addition to that, I've got some video footage. They're going to be reporting on this, but they're saying there is also currently a cyber attack against Ukrainian institutions and banks happening right now, and we're hearing it's very likely Russia. So we will see. And also, in this clip, towards the end here, they're going to be cutting away, saying that President Joe Biden at this time is making a speech in D.C., and he's going to be discussing Build Back Better and infrastructure. And we're going to be cutting to that so I can get you caught up as to what he's saying right now, as he's still pushing this and saying we're going to have more stimulus. But let's take a look at this news report on Russia and Ukraine.
So let me start with this. You know, on one hand, today feels as if, at least what the Russians are trying to send the message, hey, we want more diplomacy. We're not escalating anymore. We're ready to dial things back. Oh, by the way, there's a cyber attack in Kyiv right now on financial institutions. So watch what they say or what they do here, Ambassador.
Absolutely watch what they do. Even this so-called de-escalation, even the the announcements that the Russian military has made that they're moving their troops and their equipment back away from the border, from the border with Ukraine. We haven't seen that yet. It would be welcome. It would be great if they do that. That would be an indication that they're serious about actually moving toward negotiation and not toward invasion. I mean, Mr. Putin, as Chuck, you and I have talked about for some time, he's got two options. He can invade or he can negotiate. And all that we've been doing, all the United States has been doing, and NATO, its unity, as you all pointed out earlier, has been designed to push him toward negotiation away from invasion, to put costs on him for invading. So that's been the goal. And if it's been successful, great. Let's just take him up on this negotiation idea. But you can't negotiate while there are 150,000 troops on Ukraine's border. You don't negotiate with a gun to your head. So we need to see it. We need to see it.
Give me your interpretation of the, shall we say, the mismatched rhetoric from Ukrainian leaders, including the president, on their ambitions for NATO. Is this on the table? Do you really think? Do you really think this is on the table?
When you say on the table, so here's what I think is President Zelensky meant yesterday, and I think one of your reporters pointed this out. He said he had a dream. He had a dream of being in NATO. I have a dream of things I want to do. Other American leaders have had dreams of what they wanted to see. So this is an aspiration. This is in their constitution, as he pointed out. NATO and the EU are in the Ukrainian constitution as their direction for foreign policy. So that's his dream. That's his goal. That's his aspiration. And that dream is not on the table. He represents a sovereign country. Ukraine is sovereign. It gets to decide who it wants to associate with, who it wants to work on defense with, who it wants to trade. It's a sovereign country. Now, if Ukraine does decide to pursue that dream concretely by applying for NATO membership, then it's up to the NATO members. All 30 of them get a vote as to whether or not to accept the process getting started. But I do believe that he's committed still, very committed to becoming a member of NATO. And so is it on the table? No. I don't think it's on the table. It's not a member. It's not part of any consultation. It's not part of any agreement or proposed deals. No, we're talking about a sovereign right of Ukraine and the open door principle of NATO, and those are not on the table.
I need to pause here for a quick second, Ambassador. I want to alert viewers of President Biden. He's going to be delivering some remarks at the National Association of Counties, their 2022 legislative conference right now. He's expected to speak later this afternoon, of course, on the Ukraine crisis. We're going to monitor these remarks. If anything comes up on that, we will bring them to you, but we do not expect Ukraine to come up in these remarks. This appears to be about COVID, infrastructure, and we assume public safety.
So there you have it, you guys. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what Biden is saying right now about infrastructure and stimulus.
It's all about making sure people have more economic difficulty raising their families can finally get a benefit the wealthier people get in the tax burdens and the child tax credit. But look, another thing that funding can support, thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure bill, is jobs. It's going to create several million jobs. Folks, look, it took a long time, a lot of administration, but we finally passed a bipartisan infrastructure bill. Everybody. We finally ended Infrastructure Week. We got something done. Everybody knew America was falling behind in infrastructure. After years of dead ends and broken promises, we came together, Democrats and Republicans, and we did something about it. Not only has Infrastructure Week finally arrived, we can look forward to an infrastructure decade. That's what this is for 10 years. Just 92 days after I signed the law, it's already making a tangible difference. We announced billions of funding allocations to put people to work in good-paying jobs. Through it all, you've led with patriotism and resolve, and you've saved lives. Another challenge we face is easing the burden on working families. There's real inflation, and if you're in a working-class family, it hurts. That's why my Build Back Better plan, what it's all about. Look, families are getting clobbered by the cost of everyday things. I know the gas and food prices are up. we're working to bring them down. I grew up in a family where the price of the pump was felt in the kitchen. Everybody knew, everybody felt it. I understand. These are necessities, but they're not the totality of what family needs. So while we work on supply chains and we work on bringing down the cost of the things that we're talking about have gone up so high, we still have other ways we can reduce the burden on working class families. They still have to pay for child care. Families can spend as much as $14,000 a year in some part of the country for child care. My plan, the cost of child care for working families, will cost 7% of your income, no more. And that helps millions of parents, especially women, get back to work. 20 million of them are not working. And by the way, it ends up paying for itself, and they're back to work paying taxes. Look, we still have to pay for prescription drugs. You want to benefit a family, reduce the cost of the prescription drugs they have to pay. In America, we pay the highest price for prescription drugs in the world, of any developed nation in the world, about 2 to 3 times what other countries pay. Let me give you I can give you hundreds of examples. Let me give you one. One anti-cancer drug to treat leukemia and lymphoma that costs $14,000 a month in the United States. That same exact drug by the same drug company, that drug sold in France costs $6,000. $6,000. Those who live on the Canadian border, you cross the border, you can buy the same drug for a hell of a lot less than you can buy in the United States. Same manufacturer. Or take insulin. The cost of drug companies to provide insulin, a vial of insulin, costs less than $10 to make. But there are many families, like families I met last week in Culpeper, Virginia, paying $300 per vial for medicine they need every single day for type 1 diabetes. If they have good health care coverage, this family does, but they still have to pay $5,600 for prescriptions before their insurance kicks in. Think about that. 200,000 American children with type 1 diabetes. Think about being one of those parents. You don't have insurance, but you know your child to live needs that insulin. How do you look that child in the eye when you don't have the income or you don't have the insurance? What do? Not only you worry your child may die, but you're stripped of your dignity. You're stripped of your sense of who you are, not being able to afford that child's needs. Look, we can cap the cost of insulin to $35 a month. Drug companies will still make money.
So there you have it, you guys. President Biden right now speaking on Build Back Better and passing more provisions to help out with lowering the cost of drugs and medications, childcare. A lot of those provisions they want to see included that we've heard Senator Joe Manchin might be on board for passing, as they got to get all the Democratic senators to pass this through the process of reconciliation. And he's the one right now that is vocalizing concerns about increasing debt and causing more inflation. And President Joe Biden and a lot of progressives are saying that, no, we've written this in a way now that there's going to be no additional debt to our economy. Now, we will see. I'll keep you up to date here on the channel. So you guys, that is the latest, and I'm expecting we're going to be seeing articles coming out on this here very shortly, but this is coming out right now, so at the time, I don't have anything to link you to, just the video footage so you can see it for yourself, and I will keep you up to date as more information rolls out here on the channel. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you like to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. You can come join the Ram fam. If you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much again for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.